Haley Stevens has gotten millions and millions of dollars in AIPAC money, among other sources of funding, and has been running some really, really, really deceptive ad campaigns, including one which implies that Obama has endorsed her run, which is not true. I saw a couple of really, really grim, like, street interviews where black people in Michigan were saying, like, yeah, well, she's who Obama wants. Is this the misleading ad? $50 million given to Haley Stevens.
Haley Stevens, Chief of Staff for President Obama's auto rescue, saving over 200,000 Michigan jobs.
Haley Stevens, she was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come.
They're so fucking cynical, dog. They're so cynical.
Haley Stevens, a proven...
So fucking evil. She has, like, no ground game. It's all just money. It's just money and 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 money. It's so much money. 50 million now. 50 million. 50 million! It's crazy. She's so funny. Is this... Oh, yeah. She missed her calling as a voice actress.
I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way. I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf.
I swear to God, she did not sound like this. She did not sound like this 5 years ago. I don't know if it's like a head injury or something. I have no idea. I don't know what... I don't know why she sounds like this. Nobody in Michigan sounds like... I know nobody in Michigan sounds like this. Nobody on earth sounds like this.
So apparently, this is a confidential document. It's covered by an NDA. The only problem is I never actually signed an NDA. So
the format with which this information is being presented strains credibility a little bit.
Shh. Let's not tell anyone. Let's go through it together. It's an influencer brief from the Haley Stevens Senate campaign in Michigan. Right at the top, it says that the rate for this video is $1,500. So apparently, that's the going rate for a do-nothing candidate. Okay, so let's quickly get to the goal. So our job is to educate and show Michigan Democrats that Haley Stevens is leading the way to fight against Donald Trump and MAGA. Okay, so let's see what we got. So the first instruction says, share a proof point where Stevens has stepped up to fight MAGA. So sure, so just like Trump, Haley Stevens says that we can't afford universal health care, affordable housing, student debt relief. But when Congress had a chance to put limits on how long the president could keep U.S. involvement in Israel's war.
He sounds worse than Stevens. Yeah, I don't think I can listen to him for any longer. The point being, she's dumping an ungodly fucking amount of money on this race, paying influencers to endorse her, or sorry, not technically endorse her, but, you know, talk about how she's leading the fight against MAGA. I still can't believe this is real. The, like, thank you rolls she did to AIPAC for buying her elections. She has no ground game. She does not campaign. That's the reason why she's bad at it. Her elections just get bought for her.
Hi, everyone. It's Congresswoman Haley Stevens, proudly representing Michigan's 11th district. On my primary election night, I wanted to thank AIPAC and the pro-Israel community. Our values spoke very loudly this evening. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, I don't think Haley Stevens added the fucking music. I don't think that was part of the original. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think the original thank you AIPAC for buying me the election video had the horror music. It was sinister without the music. I get really mad when I see shit like this because it reminds me of when I'm looking at like Indian news or whatever, where they think so little of the attention span of their viewers that they have to pump everything. Like, you really need music over a fucking 27 second clip? Really? Really? Volunteer events for the Haley Stevens campaign? That's crazy, man. Look at all that. Nothing. Nothing. Dead empty. Is she an industry plant or something? If the industry is infinite war, yes. No, she's very transparently like an uncharismatic candidate who has always been extremely deferential to AIPAC. She might be like the most AIPAC candidate, like proportionally. Like the ratio of AIPAC support versus how much people actually like her, she might actually be the most AIPAC candidate. Yeah, very, very openly corrupt. Really, really grim. But she has a lot of money to buy TV ads with. Like, so much money. She's been given so much money. Yeah. DW and Donna Mills of Troy said Stevens' ad with President Obama is the reason they're voting for her. They put a lot of money behind Haley. We don't know a whole lot about him. When I asked about AIPAC, the Mills said they aren't anti-Israel, but what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. What does that imply? They're not they acknowledge that it's a genocide, but they're not against it? That's a fascinating median voter position to hold. I mean, sure, why not, man? Is Vosh an industry plant? I'm only here because of Hamas money. That's straight up like 90% of my views coming straight out of the West Bank, where Hamas famously rules. Saying that might get you arrested in the United Kingdom. Fucking had her on Morning Joe.
How do you get costs down? Your first day in Congress, how do you start fighting to get costs down so a 26, 27-year-old worker is able to actually support themselves before even thinking about being able to support their family?
Yeah, and we've got 60% of Americans now living paycheck to paycheck. And how we tackle this on day one is through my bills. One called No Tariffs on Groceries. Two, standing up to utility companies who are getting federal funds and still raising rates, which is wholly unacceptable. Also dealing with something that is hitting us hard in Michigan, which is prolonged power outages. And then we also need to lessen Michigan's dependence on China in our manufacturing sector. We have got to create more jobs and lower costs. We did that with chips, something I was deeply involved with in a bipartisan way, a win for Michigan's manufacturing sector. We can do that through critical minerals, loan guarantees, tax credits, grow our supply chain, lower costs.
Your ear is distracting me? Yeah, why the fuck is it hanging out like that? It looks like it's going to fall off.
Works. That is proven industrial policy, not what we're getting from Trump.
She grates so much. Hey, listen, I'll tell you this much. There's a reason why that ad that implies that Obama's endorsed her doesn't actually include her. Like, she's not talking in it. Obama's talking in it, you know? Michigan Senate polling. It's pretty neck and neck. Yeah, El Sayed up +3, Stevens up +1. It's so fucked that, like, this is even a question. She's so unelectable. And she's going to lose the general, too. If she wins the primary, she'll probably lose the general. There's just not a lot of enthusiasm here. And, like, keep in mind, she's an AIPAC candidate. AIPAC doesn't give a fuck whether or not she wins the general. They just want Abdul al-Sayed to not win. Like, AIPAC wins either way. AIPAC's totally fine with Rogers winning. Literally, like, the majority of her support is coming from an organization that has absolutely no incentive to see her victory through to the general. You should do some research, 01s. You personally feel like Israel's the wrong, but I've never actually researched the issue. So wait, so wait, hold on. I'm entertaining the bait, like the hypothetical bait. So you're, like, deeply interested in the format of an online debate on a topic on which you already have strong opinions but have done no research? You know how insane that is to say, right? Like, you know, your motivation isn't coming from an understanding of the subject or an interest in understanding it then. This is literally like, why not just watch pro wrestling? That's crazy. Like, you're doing the bit. 12 are baiting. 12 and baiting. And Yahoo's received 0 AIPAC money. That's fucking true. Oh, man. I hate Stevens so fucking much. I really don't see how Haley could win. I know social media is biased, but I've seen 0 support for her. Well, yeah, but, like, the support you see is, like, people posting on Twitter. And people who post on Twitter like Abdul al-Sayed. But the average voter is a dullard. The average voter is barely human. They just, like, see an ad on TV and they're like, I guess I could take a break from beating my wife and fucking my kid to go out there and vote. And then they vote for, like, the Obama girl. Whose voice they've never heard, whose positions they couldn't repeat, and then they go back to forming the indent on the couch. You don't hate voters enough. Why are Dem voters like this more, it feels, than Republican ones? They're not. Not even a little bit. Republican voters are so much worse. The difference is that we don't earnestly watch Republican races to like watching them choose between a good and a bad option. Keep in mind, like, they did just have a race in Kentucky. Thomas Massey got replaced. Thomas Massey, the guy known for being anti-pedophile, that's like his main fucking ticket, they replaced him. Republican voters are far, far, far worse. They just don't have any good choices to contrast against. Wait, Haley Stevens was asked about the I Dream of Israel quote. Okay, hold on. I do have to see this.
Let's talk a little bit about your opponent, Abdul El-Sayed, who has criticized you on Israel in particular. And, of course, with the war in Iran back at the top of our show, back at the top of the headlines today. I want to play something that he has used to create a website attacking you. If you go to the website, it just plays this on a loop. I want to show it to our viewers. We'll talk about it on the other side. Watch.
In the United States Congress,
what is?
I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence.
Crazy thing, she actually did that. This is an unedited camera feed of what she did. She just split. This is the biblically accurate Haley Stevens proclaiming like fealty to the Holy Land.
Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future.
How would you characterize the remarks you were making then, and what impact does this have now?
Sure. Look, I was standing with the Jewish community and a group of hostages who were in pain. People who had just gotten released from the Hamas tunnels.
I'm really sorry, babe. There's no getting away from Israel comes to me in my dreams. There's not. There's truly not. There's just nothing that justifies that. There are a lot of pro-Israel statements that you could potentially make immediately after October 7th that I think you could explain to some extent, but this is psychotic no matter what.
It was a very emotional moment, and I have been certainly very dedicated to standing by all Michiganders who have experienced pain as a result of a war that was started multiple years ago, and frankly, a war.
In a since-deleted prior post, Stevens has taken the position that U.S. support for Israel should, quote, go unquestioned. She doesn't just support Israel, like she doesn't even want it to be possible to not, like it's all like anti-democracy stuff. Zionism is just the erosive force on democracy. But like they don't even want a discussion on this, which is obvious because anytime like any criticism of Israel is made, you're called an anti-Semite by all of the most paid off people in the Democratic Party.
Yet Benjamin Netanyahu has mismanaged, and he has failed to bring peace. He has made Jews less safe here.
Also, remember that the anti-Netanyahu line has been specifically approved by AIPAC. I'm not joking. AIPAC may have taken a bunch of hits to their credibility in the eyes of Democratic voters, but they still support a lot of Democratic candidates. And there was a notable shift I feel like late 2024, where it became really, really, really clear they were not going to be able to fully salvage the optics on this one, and they essentially gave permission to a bunch of their toadies. You can drop Netanyahu. Like, you can be anti-Netanyahu. That's the leeway we'll allow you to give. You can never be anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, but you are allowed to be anti-Netanyahu. And basically overnight, a bunch of them changed their rhetoric, like just like that. That's where that rhetoric comes from.
In America and around the world. And Mr. Netanyahu was just on CNN the other day criticizing me. I'm not afraid of Bibi. I'm not afraid of Putin. I've had to stand up to him when he stole my constituent Paul Whelan and wrongly detained him for 5.5 years. I was writing resolutions condemning the Russian Federation.
Notice how she doesn't answer the question. I am noticing.
Before the war in Ukraine broke out, these leaders, these bullies who abuse power, who are corrupt, they will not.
Notice, abuse power, that's a specific claim about Netanyahu's government, not about their actions towards the Palestinians. Likewise with corrupt. Her accusations against the Netanyahu government is that it's failed the Israeli people, not the Palestinians. Like, if you're, like, I don't give a fuck if Netanyahu's corrupt. That is so far away from, like, the top of the list on my problems with the guy. Like, he is, for sure, and it's a problem, but it's not anywhere near, you know, like Hitler was corrupt. It's just not up there on the list of criticisms, you know? He's done some other shit too, but there's a reason why that's what she centers on. Her claim is that Netanyahu has failed the people of Israel in their divine righteous claim to the entirety of the Middle East.
Get a pass from me. I am a courageous and bold leader, and you bet your pants I will be in the United States Senate.
Pants.
Congresswoman, I had Mr. El Sayed on this program a few days ago, and I asked him several times if Israel has a right to exist. He would not say that straight out. What is your answer to the question?
Yeah, he was pretty clear. He was pretty clear, I feel.
Does Israel have a right to exist?
Well, absolutely. And this is a stark policy difference between my opponent, Abdul, and myself. My goal and the work that I stand by is long-term peace and a two-state solution where people in Palestine, in Gaza, can live peacefully side by side with the people of Israel. It is deeply concerning that Abdul equivocates when talking about Israel's right to exist. That does not bring us closer to peace. That does not help this tenuous situation. I stand by a two-state solution, and my...
Literally no one ever even believes in a two-state... No. The idea that any two-state solution could exist and that the barbarians in Israel wouldn't immediately raise a second state to the ground. Like, they've already invaded and taken territory in Lebanon and Syria and the West Bank and Gaza, all illegally. Like, why would you? Oh, what we need to create is another state for them to butcher. Yeah, no. I don't think so. No one actually believes this. It fails in any follow-up. The whatever genuine advocacy there was for a two-state solution died with October 7th. The idea that the Israeli government in its current form could ever tolerate the existence of the Palestinian people as a separate legal entity? No, definitely not.
Long work to bring us to that goal.
Does she have any views on Michigan? I guess she's like anti-China or something. Like she wants to bring manufacturing back because she's appealing to the same post-Rust Belt Midwestern talking points that have been failing for like literally half a century at this point. Never gonna happen.